Hello, beautiful people, Stephanie here, and today we're taking a look at tin whistle players past, present, and hopefully future. What I wanted to do was showcase the way that tin whistle playing is developing as time is going on, and show you where it started when it first had this surge in popularity, how it's progressed, and hopefully where it's heading. Now, I've chosen a selection of musicians that fit into the broad umbrella term of Celtic folk music. And although that's not the best choice, it does cover the traditional Irish music and moves into some of the more modern blends of music, using those traditional techniques and developing them into alternative genres of music. So while this isn't going to cover some of the musicians in bigger bands like Omnia and Elevati, Faun even, what it is going to cover is some big names that you'll definitely know, and hopefully some of the newer names that you definitely want to know moving forward. So sit back, get ready to listen, and open your ears to some incredible tin whistle sounds. So we're going to start with a name you definitely need to know, and that's Micho Russell.
Pepe.
As you can see and hear, his style is rhythmical. It's actually pretty straightforward, designed to actually tell the story of the melody rather than to show off his skill on the whistle. It basically serves as the benchmark of traditional Irish whistling. And you can see by the way that his audience react that they're listening to a storyteller. There aren't huge amounts of ornamentation within this. There aren't too many breath effects. It's more focused on really getting that melody out and captivating the audience around him with that simple and straightforward approach. Now let's take a look in contrast at Mary Bergin, another huge name in the tin whistle world. And her playing, although still traditional, has a lot more ornamentation. Now you'll notice that by comparison, Mary Bergin uses a lot more ornamentation, and the music itself, although a faster demonstration, actually still has that raw feel to it that a lot of the traditional Irish music has. It's hearing the sound of the instrument through the music, but allowing the ornamentation and the unique voice of the instrument to really build the excitement within the piece of music. You can see that it's a very concentrated approach, partly because of the speed and the complexity of what's being played, but also it's that stillness to it that I think is kind of part of the traditional style. And you'll see that as we move through whistlers into more modern styles of playing, that does actually really change. But one thing you can say for both Micho Russell and Mary Bergin is that their focus on rhythm and timing is really impeccable. This music was for traditional Irish dancing. So a lot of it is having that stability and that regularity through the tune, which really gets your foot tapping. And it's why traditional Irish music is so loved around the world. It's lively and it's enthusiastic and it's perfectly in time and really gets a strong beat within it. Now I wanted to move on to two whistle players that are actually more famous for low whistle, and that's John McSherry and Michael McGoldrick. And basically what we have with these two musicians is a development in the style. It's still playing in that traditional feel, but it's actually blending that music into more modern fusion genres. And both of these musicians are responsible for basically the continuing merging of the traditional genre with more modern genres as well. So let's first take a listen to Michael McGoldrick. So you can hear already that this is it's a much more expressive style of playing. There is a lot of ornamentation there, but there is also a desire to express what the instrument itself can do. So for me, it's gained another level from the traditional playing of creating the story and creating the rhythm and creating that sense of dance. And this has moved on to adding with it that extra sense of showing off what the instrument is actually capable of, and through that adding a level of additional emotion to the music, which I find really interesting. Let's take a listen to John McSherry. So John McSherry is well known as an uilleann piper, but also plays tin whistle. And as you can see, the styles themselves are kind of similar. They've still got a little bit of the stillness of the traditional musicians. They've still got that fantastic rhythm, but they are adding a lot of ornamentation and including things like slides, which you don't really hear so much in the maybe older, more traditional style of playing. So this adds that bending of the notes and gives each tune just a little bit more sway to it, I think, than maybe some of the more traditional styles of playing. And this style of playing has been highly influential in moulding and shaping what modern whistle players are doing with their instruments. Next up, we have, in combination, Joanie Madden and Brian Finnegan. Now, let's first take a listen to Joanie Madden's style of playing. Now, Joanie Madden is an American whistle player. She's immensely talented and popular worldwide. She's in the band Cherish the Ladies. And I think what you can see from this, or what I take from this personally, is that she adds another level of enthusiasm to her playing. So it gives it this elevated feeling of excitement. It feels newer, it feels fresher. And although a lot of these skills and techniques are still present from that original style of playing, yeah, I think for me the added energy and enthusiasm within this really, really brings it to life. On a similar vein, let's take a listen to Brian Finnegan. You can hear from both of these musicians that the skill level at those high paces is actually pretty incredible. What Brian Finnegan does is, again, brings that little spark to his style of play. There's this contagious feeling of excitement when you see musicians like this play. And yeah, that dedication, that energy level, that spark that they're bringing to the music really adds something special. Again, with Brian Finnegan, technique-wise, he's using a lot of those techniques that we saw to bring something quite spectacular. Now, there are three incredibly talented musicians that I need to talk about. And the first is Ali Levack. You may have heard of Ali. He is in a selection of bands, I believe. And his whistle playing is absolutely incredible. Let's take a listen. So what we end up with here is this fantastic showcase of skills and techniques on the whistle to again bring additional elements to the music that really give this a modern feel. The style of this playing is actually a lot more forced in a way, although it comes beautifully naturally. But there's a lot more tonguing involved, there's a lot more ornamentation, and there are some incredible breath and mouth effects that go into creating these unique and unusual sounds. And yeah, it's a fantastic showcase of the techniques that you can use on this instrument to make it sound a little bit different. Another musician breaking boundaries in this same way is Cedar Dobson. Let's take a listen to how she plays. Wow. Beautiful. How incredible is that? How fantastic is it to have such control over the way you play your instrument? As you can see, both of these players are extremely expressive in the way they use their instrument, and there's a lot more body movement going on as well. There's a lot more feeling that's being put into this style of playing. It's keeping that energy. It's including these modern techniques. It's showcasing exactly what the instrument is capable of and bringing all of that up another level, trying to show off these techniques that are really technical, that are really impressive, that are a really high skill level, and working those into a piece of music to develop the way it sounds, to challenge the expectations of the audience. And that is really groundbreaking stuff. Now, I would assume by Ali and Cedar's styles that they've taken a lot of inspiration from the incredible master, which is Finbar Furey. His performance of The Lonesome Boatman is renowned as one of the most impressive technical performances on tin whistle, and of course one of the most expressive performances on a low whistle as well. Now, I also wanted to include in this mix Tara Howley and Sean Cunningham. In my opinion, their styles do have some similarities. So let's first take a listen to Sean Cunningham. So what I love about Sean's playing is, firstly, he has fantastic rhythm and his ornamentation is incredible. His techniques, I feel, are a lot more rooted in tradition than maybe Cedar or Ali, who are extending the tin whistle's techniques. But what Sean does is bring this beautiful phrasing to his music that really holds on to those traditional values, but gives it a little spin, which I really like. Let's have a listen to Tara Howley. So nice. Again, I think what she brings is the value of that traditional ornamentation, and again, some beautiful phrasing. Both of these whistle players have got a fantastic combination of tonguing and slurring. they're not using anything too heavily, they're not using anything too lightly. It's a nice balanced and even distribution of everything that you could expect on tin whistle. Now, while their tin whistle playing is still rooted in the traditional style, what both of these musicians do is they bring an added level of expression to their phrasing and to the way they're using these whistles. And it really creates for some gorgeous listening. There is also actually a whistle player called Franck Medrano who plays incredibly fast on tin whistle, but his whistle playing is actually very smooth, very fluid. Just take a little listen to this. Such fluidity in that piece, at that speed, the confidence and the movement is just incredible. I really love hearing whistle players like this because there's a lot of fast and really clean ornamentation within this. You can let it just wash over you in one go, and it's really quite calming despite it being so energetic. Now, there are also some current and upcoming musicians that are playing in slightly different ways, taking influence from older techniques and presenting different music on tin whistle. And a few of those whistle players are Danilo D'Ambrosio, or Didi Ruggito dell'Anima. I've done a few collaborations with him. And of course, Leyna Robinson-Stone. Let's take a listen first to Danilo. So you'll hear in comparison to Cedar and Ali that Danilo's style of playing is actually a lot smoother and softer. There's less focus on extended techniques and heavy ornamentation, and a return to the more traditional, quieter style of playing. In fact, the melody is more of a focus than the techniques. And it's not so much about altering the audience's perception of the melody, it's about presenting the melody on this instrument in a smooth and contoured way. Let's take a listen to Leyna and see what she does. So again, this is a much calmer way of playing. The melody isn't littered with techniques and ornamentation. It's a little bit more straightforward, like the original Micho Russell style of playing. It's a way of smoothly and calmly offering the audience the melodies that they know or the melodies that they like. It's less about the instrument itself and more about the music. You'll notice a difference as well in the sound preferences between these vast array of whistlers. It's not just about speed, it's not just about technique, but it's also the preferred sound or the sound that you give to your audience. Leyna and Danilo have, I feel, what is a more processed sound. It's more polished, if you will. It takes out some of the imperfections of the instrument, or what would be considered imperfections of the instrument, and provides a more polished, overall, completed song, if you will. Originally, I think the Micho Russell, it was about live performances. It was about hearing the intricacies of the voice of the whistle and having that very personal connection one-to-one with the instrument and the player and the people around him. I think as we move through the lower whistles, they bring this different energy to things. The sound of a lower whistle is a little smoother than the sound of a high whistle anyway, but it brings a little bit more mystery to the sound of the music. But it's a completely different experience. Listening to Danilo and Leyna, it's about creating the overall performance. It's everything in combination with these beautiful visuals and this gorgeous full and rich background of sound. And it's equally as valid to go the route of impressive technical tin whistle playing to simple storytelling tin whistle playing. And it's gorgeous that both of these elements exist. And then, of course, you've got me. Now, let's take a listen to an example of my playing and see what I do. So throwing yourself into something like this after listening to a bunch of incredible musicians is it's honestly pretty torturous. But what I wanted to do was give you guys a comparison. So I don't have a traditional background. I don't have any background in music. So my approach to music is completely different. I do have a background in theatre and film. And a lot of what I do is essentially storytelling, but communicating emotion to an audience through myself physically and through my voice, which is either my voice or, in the case of an instrument, my tin whistle. I think you'll notice from my playing that my rhythm is less accurate. It's less strict. My phrasing probably challenges what the song should sound like a little bit because I'm making up my own rules and not really following anybody else's. But the one thing I do include is actually a lot of the ornamentation and breath techniques that create additional emotion through the sound. So I'm really focusing, for me, on using the voice of the whistle to connect with the audience on a human level, on an emotional level. So although I'm not at the same level as a lot of these other whistle players, I bring something different. And when you're analysing music, what you really want to be doing is looking at the whole range of musicians out there and seeing if there's anything you can take from their style and add it to yours. Take inspiration from the beautiful rhythm of Mary Bergin. Take inspiration from these stunning techniques that Ali and Cedar are producing. Take the speed and energy and fluidity from players like Franck Medrano, from Finnegan, from Joanie Madden. Take the stillness and story building of Micho Russell, of Danilo, of Leyna. Take the gorgeous, smooth and controlled ornamentation from Howley and Cunningham. Take the expression from players like myself or masters like John McSherry and Michael McGoldrick, and blend all of that and all of those things you love into your own tin whistle playing. Now, I know that I've missed hundreds of incredible tin whistle players and Irish musicians from this little video. So if you have names that you'd like everybody else to know about, please do go and leave them in the description below. It's a fantastic community that we've built here for tin whistle. So please Share the artists that you love and tell us why you love them. Add links in the description so we can go and watch them. And hopefully this video will become a huge resource for anybody looking for more Irish tin whistle players to follow. I will put links to everybody's YouTube channels or socials or whatever I can find in the description below so you guys can go and follow these musicians featured in this video. And of course, if you have any questions or your own comments, your own observations, please, I encourage you to leave everything in the comments. I would really love this video to be, one huge resource for amazing musicians. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. And of course, onwards and upwards, happy whistling. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.